Yes. Well, so you can actually also use this.
Oh, it is working?
So. Yeah,
oh, cool.
so
Oh, you did it actually work?
Well, yeah.
Okay, that's even better.
Then.
Are we live, Rick?
No, we're not live.
Oh, with the hangout, I mean.
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
But if you turn that on, then it should.
Hold to use it? No.
And then if you need audio for any reason, this is.
No, I want
Okay, so this is the dial for the volume for the mic.
Okay.
It should be all right there. If it's a little loud, just turn it to you.
Okay. Okay, so let's take these. There's the speaker. Okay, Rick just wandered away.
Do you want me to get up to this?
Rick? Rick?
Maybe it needs to be louder.
Rick? Is the hangout live?
Whatever you want.
Okay, hi everyone. You don't have to take your seats yet because this is sort of well, for those of you that have been to our meetups before, you know what this is. This is me telling you all kinds of super interesting and important information, and it goes on for about an hour and a half. So make yourselves comfortable or get another beer. We also have wine there, which I painstakingly did the beer run myself again, so I went to a fine beverage retailer and bought wine as well. And for those of you that know me know I do care about wine a lot, so it's actually pretty decent. So I would poison you, loves. Okay, so a few things to tell you. This is, first of all, OpenStack's 6th birthday party. Yay! Happy birthday, OpenStack! We are live on the Hangout, so hello world. Are we video or just audio?
Slides and audio.
Slides and audio. Thank God, I didn't do my hair. Okay. Okay, good. So, hello world. Happy to have you. And so first, a massively huge shout out to our sponsors. You guys are the best. I passed the hat around and y'all absolutely came through. So thank you, thank you, thank you, Datera, for hosting, and in particular, Alex. Where is Alex? 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 Okay, Alex is out front. Please just give her the biggest hug. Don't do that. Just thank her. Thank her. Yay, Alex! Give Alex a huge round of applause. Thank you so much for all of your hard work. Also, PLUMgrid, Deborah. Where's Deborah from PLUMgrid? Deborah in the back, thank you so much for everything you did. Cupcakes, courtesy of Deborah doing the cupcake run, but she also did many other very, very important things. Not that there's anything more important than cupcakes, as you know, from our meetups. And everybody else, Walmart Labs, we have Patricia and Sean here from Walmart Labs, and a bunch of other people from Walmart Labs too, but thank you, Patricia and Sean, for your help on this. Always, thank you, Rick. You know my partners in crime, Rick, Sean, we are your hosts. And Rick, very, very much thank you for doing all the heavy lifting on the Google Hangout. Marius, is Marius here yet? Marius? Okay, thank you to Marius also from VMware Code. And also, who am I missing? Me from Hewlett Packard. And I have some support here. Thanks, Mark and Derek and all the HP folks for coming, and our fabulous speakers for agreeing to let me rope you into yet another one of these fun things. Thank you, Intel. Sujata's here. You'll hear from her a little bit later. She's also one of our speakers, and she's going to be hosting a meetup next week that I'll tell you about in a minute. And I think I've covered everyone. And from the foundation, we have Heidi. Where's Heidi? I just saw you. Yay! From the foundation, we have representation, and Heidi's going to kick off our lightning talks. So, so you guys know the drill. Lightning talks. The format is it's super fun. It's 5 minutes. We have a machine here that's counting down. When it's done, you will hear a very obnoxious sound, which will boot people off stage at that moment. So there is no running over, and it actually ends up being a whole lot of fun. So thanks for signing up for yet another crazy format that I'm throwing at you because I like to mix things up. Speaking of mixing things up, we've done this for a while now. Many of you were at the 4th birthday party. I think that's the first place I met Mark in person. We had an ice sculpture. You see Patricia up there at the top with the fabulous ice sculpture. We had a robot cake. We had so much fun. We had some of the founders of OpenStack speaking. We had Lou. I don't know, is Lou here today? Cisco? Lou. Oh, Lou's usually a regular at these things. We had so much fun. We had a painter. Monty couldn't make it, so we had a video. Eileen Evans was there. We had a lot of the founders and the folks that actually brought OpenStack to you. And my favorite tweet, I think, the whole thing was when Jesse tweeted out that we were missing the vendor battle rap. But what he was really saying is we really embrace the notion of community. And we have worked super hard, you know, Sean as an organizer before me and the organizers before that, to make sure that this is a very tight community and that it stays a community. And so there really was no vendor battle rap, and there won't be tonight if everybody follows instructions and embraces the notion of community. So thank you guys so much for helping build this community. This is your community, and we really appreciate everybody working so hard to keep it that way. Last year, we also had a lot of fun. We did this one at HP. It was right down the road. Many of you are in this picture. And we did this Lego, this upstream Lego, to teach everybody how to be even better community members. And it was a really fun, really positive day. We had over 200 people there. We gave away shirts. This was one of them. And it was a really great party. So we hope that next year we'll have a slide that shows all of the fun we're having this year for the 6th party. So thank you all for participating for all of these years. And I think last year is when the cupcake thing really started, and then went on with the John when the Giants won, and then we had cupcakes for Halloween, and the cupcakes have been a thing for those of you that are new. And so we do have cupcakes tonight. Some very bad person snitched because there's one missing that I saw. We don't get into the cupcakes until a little bit later. We have to do a few lightning talks, and then that's your teaser at the end. So, so that's dessert. Don't eat dessert first. The sky is not going to fall. Lightning's not going to strike the building. There's not going to be an earthquake in the next hour. So we can have dessert later. I'm positive. No earthquakes in an hour. Not on my watch. Okay. So the mugs, how that works. You all got a ticket, right? And so those of you that registered anyway, I think just judging from how many people are here, if you signed in, you should probably still be able to get a mug because I think we'll have some, but we definitely want to give priority to those that registered. The mugs will be out here when you leave because we don't want to make you have to carry that all night long. And so just give Alex or whoever's out front your ticket, and you will get your mug. This is the hottest giveaway. I also got to thank Alex for coming up with this idea, because this mug, like, you have to pay $20 to buy a mug that's not even as nice as this in the stores. This is all the rage. And when we were at the Austin Summit, the OpenStack Summit in Austin, there was this one bar that was specializing in Moscow mules. You had to give them your driver's license if you actually wanted your Moscow mule in this mug, because people wanted the mug so bad they were taking it. It was Granny Street. I don't know, maybe that's an Austin thing, but it was a lot of fun. And Moscow mules, the trend continues. So we did this fabulous Moscow mule, and I got to thank Alex for doing the heavy lifting on that one too. The foundation was also nice enough to make us our own sticker, and I put them in the back there in the corner on that table. So we have the OpenStack SF Bay Area user group sticker. We're like official. You're not official until you have a sticker. There's 2 of them on my laptop now. It's awesome. So grab a sticker on the way out. This is your community. You've earned this sticker. And it's a really cool sticker. As Sean said, it's vinyl. Thank you. So it won't just peel off. Also, the OpenStack Foundation has created a Flickr site. So when you take pictures, and please do take pictures, please post them on our meetup site for this meetup. And then also put them on that Flickr page. Take a picture of that if you need to. Or I've put the link on the meetup sign up, this meetup page for this meetup. You guys know what I'm saying, right? So if you just want to click, you can go to this meetup site. So while you're there, post your pictures there, and then click on that and post your pictures there. And the foundation will, they're waiting for the pictures from this meetup, because this meetup is legendary, the biggest one in the world, and we always have the most fun at our parties. So definitely show off how much fun we're having. Make sure you don't take pictures of like people eating or stuffing their or like that. Like just make sure people look good in your pictures. Like picture etiquette, please, because otherwise people will email me and say, "Can you please take that picture down off the site?" Which of course I will if anyone says. But just be nice and don't put not nice pictures of people up on the sites. Okay, everyone got that? All right. Good. Okay, so the next, there's some games. We did promise you games. You can play ping pong, not during the presentations, please, because it's very loud, but afterwards. I also put some brain games. I use these for the innovation programs that I run at HB now, and they're really fun brain games, and they're just, anyway, it's good time wasters. But those are not giveaways, so don't take anything. There's books over there too. Do not take those. Those belong to the nice people that work here. The things that you can take are over on that table, and I see that most of them have been combed through, but there's still some more fun swag over on that table. So you can eat things there, you can drink things there, you can eat cupcakes there later, and you can take things there, and you can take a mug when you leave. Don't take anything from there. Okay, you guys got it? Yeah, you wouldn't think I'd have to say this, but apparently I have to say this. Okay, so the next meetup is next. Actually, there's a really cool meetup that's happening this weekend. It's actually put on. It's not from the OpenStack group. It's put on from the cloud computing, and it's going to be at AT&T Park. So if you guys who aren't members of the cloud computing meetup group, you can go on. I'm gonna post it after this. I didn't want you guys to get confused, but when I get home tonight, I'm gonna post it on our meetup site too, because I think it'll be a lot of fun. And they've put a free passcode up there. It's going to be at AT&T Park, where the Giants are. It's part of the AT&T the Tech Expo that they're doing there. They have Jared Leto as one of their speakers, and also other cool speakers. And I think they're going to do tours of the Giants dugouts and really cool things. So I'll post it. You can either go to the Cloud Computing Meetup site right now. They will take you to another place where you have to register, and they have a code where you can get in for free. Normally it's like $50 or something like that. So it's the Silicon Valley Cloud Computing Meetup group, and it's the future of entertainment. It's this Saturday, 10:45 a.m. at AT&T Park in San Francisco. So that looks like a lot of fun. I encourage you to go. I may. We'll see. Also, the next OpenStack meetup is next Wednesday. Fixing it up a little. It's not on a Thursday. It's Wednesday. I know you guys don't like it when there's change, but so I'm telling you next Wednesday. We're going to be at Avi Networks, and it's the their topic is Advanced Networking Services in OpenStack Load Balancing as a Service. So you all know our friends at Avi Network. They've presented with us here before. Next Wednesday, they're hosting it at Avi Networks, and it will be a really good meetup. Also, the next day after that, next Thursday, there's a meetup at, is it at Intel? Yeah. Okay, and you can talk to Sujata more about this one. Next Thursday at Intel, another out-of-the-box network developers meetup group. And so this is Intel, that's the meetup group. It's not posted on ours yet. So that's the name of your meetup group? Out-of-the-box network developers meetup group. Yeah. Okay, that's that's a meetup group. Intel O&D, OpenStack, KVM, and breaking the, I really should have put my glasses on, terabit barrier with Sandvine. I hope I got all that right. That's July 21st at 5:30. The networking part starts at 5:30, and then everything else starts at 6. Okay, so that's your schedule. Got it? Is there a quiz? Anyone? Okay. I trust that you can retain all of that. Okay, so first lightning talk. You were sleeping. That needed to happen. That needed to happen. First lightning talk. I am so thrilled to have my friend Heidi here to present to us. Yay, Heidi!
Hi!
The foundation.
That's the foundation. I think I only one slide.
Oh,
And I
okay.
love to talk, so you're going to have to use that on me.
Oh, wait.
Happy birthday, everybody.
Yay, happy birthday.
This is my 3rd birthday I celebrate with OpenStack. Has anyone been here for all 6 from the very beginning? Sean, you? Yeah, you have? A couple of you. I see some familiar faces. So, I think, did my slide make it? Yes. So, yes. Oh, you did? So, happy birthday. We love a party at OpenStack. as you probably know from going to the summits. What you also probably know, and I don't have to tell you, is that your skills, OpenStack skills, are in huge demand all over the world. As more and more companies and governments are rolling out OpenStack, they're adopting it, they're productizing it. We've got a huge shortage in OpenStack talent. So if you're one of these people with mad skills, I've got some good news for you. You may already know about it, but if you don't, I want to tell you about it. OpenStack, as of the Austin Summit, is offering the OpenStack Foundation, actually, its first professional certification called the OpenStack Certified Administrator. Yay! And it's really designed to help you with really great OpenStack skills, demonstrate those skills to people who may want to hire you. And we're working closely with HR departments too to make them aware of it so that they can, people who are hiring can find the top talent in the industry, which is all of you. So has anyone in the room taken the test?
We just on the pass.
Yay! Did you pass? I mean, you probably wouldn't raise your hand if you didn't. Yay! Congratulations! Big hand. Oh, you're a rock star. Hire him. But it is a virtual test. So what you'll do is you'll register for the test, and it's delivered virtually with an online proctor. A little creepy, but there's someone who will be watching you through the camera on your computer and then also your screen. It's 2.5 hours, and it will test your skills in managing an OpenStack cloud and also troubleshooting using the command line and then also the Horizon dashboard. So once you've completed the test, it'll, when you hit send, the results will be sent over and be automatically graded, and you'll get your results in about 1 to 2 days. And if you score a 76 or higher, you're a certified OpenStack administrator, you're a COA, and you'll get a badge to put on your LinkedIn, and you can tell all your friends, and we'll all celebrate with you. If you don't pass, and you need to go brush up on your skills a little bit, first, we have lots of training partners in our ecosystem that you can find in the marketplace. And second, you get a free retake. So, just maybe study up a little, take it again, and I'm certain you'll all pass the second time. So that's really what I want to talk about. Go register for the test. It's at openstack.org COA. You'll find all the information about it. Study up, and good luck. Thanks.
All right, who's next?
Oh, we're on.
Yay! Oh, sorry, you didn't read the published piece. By the way, she is the best person in OpenStack. I think she has a party to go to later. Another, probably her 4th OpenStack birthday party. Okay, guys, and when you finish, just forward your last slide so that.
Okay. Yeah. Beep, 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 beep. So do I have control here, or are you in control?
No, you have control.
Sweet. All right.
So this is about Keystone. We're thinking, how do we tell people what Keystone is about? How many people knows about Keystone, by the way? How many people are frustrated by Keystone and say, man, I want to, rewrite it or something. So yes, so for those of you who don't know about Keystone, so we're gonna introduce you to Keystone by, talk about the misconceptions about Keystone. So you learn about what Keystone is by learning what Keystone is not, if that makes any sense. So let's start off with Sean.
Number 10, Keystone does not support multi-factor authentication. Totally true, it doesn't, but you can do it via federation. Load up your IDP, set it up, use ADFS,
Yep.
use Apache Remote User, plenty of ways to accomplish the task. It can be done.
Yeah, you can do that through Apache Remote User as well. So you have an Apache module that supports multi-factor authentication. You can totally do it. Okay, number 9. Number 9, which says Keystone does not support certificate-based authentication. That is totally not true. For those of you that didn't make our April meetup, you can vote for our SSL session in the upcoming Okada Summit. The title is "What Can TLS and SSL Do for You?" So make sure you lobby your chairperson or whatever. I know there's a big email thread earlier about how to get your sessions accepted. It's somewhat controversial, but
It was about $1,000 per array?
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, okay.
Don't waste your time with that.
All right, wait.
Number 8, you'll see the zombie. V2 APIs are deprecated. We cannot kill them. This is a myth. We wish we could, but we cannot.
Yeah.
So, no, but the admin APIs will keep living. Please stop using the authentication though. Please switch to v3 auth today, right now. Go home, change your code. Do it. Call me, I'll help you do it. Make it happen.
Actually, it was deprecated for 2 weeks, and then we undeprecated because of crack. Yeah. And then number 7, so the notion that Keystone itself supports EC2 and S3 API is really a misconception. Keystone actually does not support EC2 and S3. Keystone can validate EC2 and S3 signatures, but if you really want EC2 and S3 support, you need to turn on the capability in Nova and Swift, respectively.
Keystone requires Apache. It doesn't. It's WSGI. You can use Nginx. Really, go do it. But you lose federation, and if you're using any of those other cool, like remote user,
Yeah, there you go.
you lose it. So, but other than that, it's WSGI. Use whatever you like. You want Unicorn? Go use Unicorn.
I think people actually got it working with Unicorn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So number 5, Keystone is an auditing service. I mean, we got this question a lot. So Keystone AAA, right, must be support auditing, but that's not really the case. Keystone support emit auditing events, just like any other OpenStack services. But you can use other OpenStack services like Congress or Mistral to listen on those events and act on those events. Or you could use a third-party security events, incident management tools to take advantage of those events. They're kind of compliant.
Keystone is an authorization service. Mispronunciation. You mean authentication service. We're taking your password. Roles and groups and projects what's doing the actual authorization, and that's all on the service side. Mispronunciation.
Yeah, Keystone actually does not do authorization. The enforcement is done at the services through also policies. Number 3, so Keystone is an identity provider. So this one is partially true, but if you want to use Keystone to be any sort of in compliance with PCI or PSS, for example, Keystone is not nowhere near that. Although we are working toward that, but the primary use case for Keystone is about LDAP integration or integrate with third-party providers.
Controversial pipeline. Come on, turn. Where'd it go? Didn't come up. There's the Keystone pipeline, but that's not us.
Keystone is a pipeline. It's a WSGI base deploy pipeline, but it's not the pipeline that you guys think about all the time. We get this question a lot. So Keystone started as a Keystone, and then it becomes Keystone Light, KSL, and then with all the stuff that we added, it becomes Keystone again.
I think so.
So I was told I have too many slides, so we'll see. I wanted to talk about containers and OpenStack. Right, so 2 things that kind of go together. I run a little technology consultancy, so that's kind of my background, and focus on operating clouds. And when I talk to people about operating clouds, one of these things they say is, hey, containers are important. How do I make those fit into my cloud? Or do I just build a whole new cloud with containers, right? So it's sort of this question of what's going on here, because this is now the hot topic. Everybody wants this thing. But really, we're looking at something that came from history. It's just another way of managing process. And I think this is the big shift. We're thinking in OpenStack mostly about the infrastructure, the services, the virtual machines, and the hardware that we're working with. Containers are about managing processes. So from a developer perspective, it makes a lot of sense. And it's this whole concept that DevOps is really popular, except that I've found that most developers don't like operations, right? I mean, everybody says, yeah, DevOps is the answer, I've got the solution. It's not. Yes, it makes things a lot easier. Developers have a much better time when they can actually manage and operate their infrastructure. And it's one of the reasons they really like containers, because containers are a nice way of sort of bundling their application together and those little pieces of operations that they still need. But we need the other piece as well. So that's why developers love containers. It's a bundle. It's these pieces sort of fit together. See, I told you I'd go fast through these. So do we even need OpenStack? I hate saying that at the birthday party, but yes, of course we do. I think we do. You know, all these other tools are there. All these other pieces are still very important, right? The tools that sit on top are important because people are looking at containers and say, this is great, I have this piece of my application. I still want to run it somewhere. I still need to operate it somewhere. I actually wrote a blog post recently about serverless computing. It's my favorite new topic. Serverless is ridiculous. We still have servers, they're not going away, right? But managing those applications is the thing that's changing. And so we're seeing that change, and we still need to sort of tie all these pieces together. So OpenStack comes in because, well, in two different ways OpenStack comes in. One, people still want to run containers, and so they need the tools to turn containers on. So they want to deploy a Mesos, they want to deploy a Kubernetes or Docker or any of those sorts of tools to manage their containers. Where are they going to deploy it? Well, let's see, you're going to deploy it on bare metal. Hey, there's a tool called Ironic that'll help you do that, all right? Or I'm going to deploy these virtual machines. And when we look at the container solutions, you know, I actually forgot one. I forgot Courier, and it's not Higgins, now it's Zune, I think they changed the name. So there are these tools for supporting containers in OpenStack. And this is managing the deployment of a container operating environment, something like a Kubernetes or the Docker Swarm tools that are now available. Managing that, there's the Murano application model, which is based on Heat, where you can just deploy it with Heat. Actually, the guys at, I think it's Ignite, have done a really good job of building a container environment for their application developers. They still use OpenStack underneath because OpenStack enables the operations. The operations team can operate that container environment. So very powerful, a very important component to all of this. There is also still this sort of chicken and egg issue, and so we're seeing a tool like Cola come along to actually help with this, I think, at least one of the pieces that can help with this, which is managing OpenStack as a containerized application. And I've talked to some people that say, well, there's some pieces that don't quite fit, which is true. I think we're going to see that change over time. But managing OpenStack as a containerized application, I think, is the way most people, when they're looking at operating large-scale environments, are headed. They may still be deploying it as individual applications, individual components. I think the Rackspace guys still do some virtual environments, some containers, and some hardware, you know, basically directly deployed on top of an operating system, application components. And we're seeing all those pieces fit together to operate these environments. So, you know, we see this, they're clearly going to be a major part of our future. Containers are a part of the answer. But we're also seeing that the management apps that are trying to solve this problem, all the problems that OpenStack already solves, like I said, I actually had it in the slide earlier, how are you going to tie your sites together with VPNs, right? Are you not going to add Kubernetes VPN service on top? You don't need to, right? We have the tools to do that. These two can actually fit together very well. So we find the flexibility, we can continue to leverage the flexibility, and I think that overall, containers and OpenStack fit very well together. All right, thanks.
Thank you also for agreeing to come and speak at such last minute notice. He was in Mexico on vacation, I think, when I pinged him. One quick thing, because I'm getting texts here up in the front saying if I could please ask the people in the back who are talking to be a little bit quieter, so that other people can. No names were mentioned. No, I think it was just there's a lot of mumbling, and it just the way it echoes, it was just hard for people to hear. So just there's lots of party areas off to the side, and if you guys want to go and talk, just over there. Okay. Next, hey, our hosts. There you go. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thanks everyone for coming as well. My name is Bill Borsari, Director of System Engineering here at Datera. So I wanted to talk about storage for OpenStack and other cloud types environments. Robert was just talking about containers, which is a new technology. People are, the leaders are very successful with it, other people are trying to figure it out. At the end of the day, the container storage is being developed. It's going to look a lot similar, very similar to the way storage is required for OpenStack in terms of functionality and what you need to make it successful. So what I want to talk about is when you're thinking about your journey into cloud, because I don't think everyone here is running their entire enterprise on an OpenStack environment or in an environment they would consider cloud, although we probably have a huge percentage of that population here. It can be a difficult journey, hence the climbing Everest. So what you want to do is really think about what the requirements are for your particular deployment. What's your performance? How are you going to protect the data, not just from a local perspective, not just from a blast radius inside the rack, but protected geographically. And And then once you understand what you need to get out of your environment, then the next question is going to become, what are you going to use? And there's actually a number of credible open source projects, like Ceph, but there's a few others as well. There's the big 5 vendors in the storage world, and maybe 6 or 4, depending on how you count vendors. Actually, 2 of them just collided, so there's less. But when you start looking at those different, and then there's also the startup vendors, the new guys who are coming to the marketplace, looking at these new problem sets and trying to understand how can we do things a little bit different, a little better to take advantage of it. A lot of systems that are in the marketplace today that are established were designed for different requirements, different use cases, and they might not mesh in an OpenStack or even any kind of cloud environment. So once you understand your requirements, now it becomes a question of getting the vendors down a little bit more in terms of what they offer. The OpenStack group did a fantastic thing, and I focus more on the Cinder side, being in storage. They instituted a requirement that in order to get your driver in the release, you had to gate through a CI/CD system. It's fantastic for the user community. It was a really good move on their part. And I understand the other projects are doing it, and it's probably more and more adopted. But in the Cinder context, very specifically, vendors had to set up a server. They had to run nightly builds. They needed to run through the testing infrastructure. They needed to report back the testing. And if there's any failures because someone else checked in code, they'd have to fix it and absolve that. I think they started doing it with Kilo, but they made it a hard enforcement in the Liberty timeframe. So if you actually look at the Liberty list, it went from like 57 supported vendors down to, I think it was 27 at the time. That's a very important aspect of when you're looking at your vendors, understanding how long they've been there, like Sheepdog. I don't know if they're in the CI/CD, so I don't know if they're being pushed forward. That's a really good a way for you as the operators to understand which of those vendors are going to meet your needs. So as you start getting further and further down the mountain, closer to your destination of having your infrastructure, then comes the question of, okay, I kind of know what I need requirement, I kind of know which vendors are good with having solutions, but oftentimes vendors have different options, or you're looking at a couple different vendors who have different architectures. And the 2 major storage architectures today are scale up and scale out. And a scale up architecture is where you have a limited number of controllers. I'm getting very technical on this storage side, a limited set of controllers that have a lot of data behind them. And a scale out architecture is that you add systems together, add them together, so as your environment grows, you get more performance, you get more storage. Fundamental differences. The reality is that a scale up system is perfectly fine for most OpenStack deployments, as are scale out systems. It really comes down to operational, comes down to your budgets that are available, and how big you plan on getting. If you think it's going to be a relatively small deployment, 1 or 2 racks, 3 racks, you can keep it relatively small. It might be simpler to buy a scale up solution for the ease of management and other things they bring. But if you're going to be growing and growing and growing, and you know you're going to get to 100 racks someday, and the goal, because it's supporting your business, is to get to 1,000 racks, you really want to start thinking about other storage options, something like the scale out technology. So then finally we arrive at the beach. We figured out what our requirements are. We know that our vendors support OpenStack, and we know what type of architecture is going to get us and make us successful in the future.
It says 4:59 when I stopped.
Who's up next? Let's see. Oh, Sean. Do you want me to press the button?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a second.
Hey, I only have 1 slide. So I'm here to talk about application lifecycle management. So I don't know how many people know about OneOps, but it's a project that Walmart pushed into open source and actually purchased the startup about 3 years ago from some ex-eBay employees. There's a lot of eBayers over at Walmart Labs. So it's OneOps is an application lifecycle management tool. It does orchestration and monitoring as well. So So I'm here to talk about it, but I'm going to start by just talking about what it's done for Walmart. And it is open source, so I give myself a break. It's not a shameless plug for something we're selling. So OneOps is really transformed the way that Walmart, and specifically the .com side of the business, it's really transformed the way the business runs. So it went from hand tooling applications 3 years ago, before OneOps was bought as a company and integrated into Walmart Labs, to tens of thousands of application configurations deployed every month now. I mean, think about that. That is a huge change. So it's really allowed Walmart Labs and rest of Walmart to really start to implement agile computing, not only on the development side, but on the operations side. So the decision was made a number of years ago that eventually OneOps would be given back to the community, and they pulled the trigger, actually, just ironically, about the same time they hired me. I don't know if it was exactly the same reason, but it was around the same time. So it was about last December. And it's out there in the community. It's out there on GitHub. But the thing that we're working on is where do our collaborators live? Well, it's in OpenStack, because it's really meant, it can work with other public providers, but it's primarily lifeblood, and how it's grown up has really been on top of OpenStack. So that being said, we want to move OneOps into OpenStack. It's out in GitHub now. So you guys are in the first public time we're actually talking about this. So okay, yeah. So the big thing that we want to do is we want to bring the application lifecycle management that has been in the orchestration and the monitoring that OneOps can do. And I could go into more, but I only have a couple minutes, so I'm not going to go into it in any detail right now. But it is out on GitHub right now under github.com/OneOps. And we want to bring that into OpenStack. It's the consistent thing that you hear about, that we have problems with managing day one, day two implementations of OpenStack. Everyone complains about it. I've complained about it when I was at Yahoo. Everyone does. So everyone's been doing their own tooling and combination of various tools. OneOps is, for the most part, the solution. So, and it's certainly helped us. So we're putting it out in the community to help others and to push it into OpenStack. So, so we're going to be hitting more, a couple of other user groups between now and the Ops mid-cycle. I'm not sure how many people here. How many people are going to the Ops mid-cycle in New York? Oh, a few hands. All right, yeah, a few of us. So, so that for those that don't know what that is, OpenStack has traditionally been a developer-centric, Python developer-centric organization. And it's been very successful at doing that. And a couple of years ago, we decided, or we realized that we weren't giving the operators enough we're giving them short shrift. We weren't listening to them enough. So there is a renewed focus on operators, and that's what this mid-cycle is about. There's also a whole track on Monday in Barcelona and every summit going forward on operators. So we're gonna make a decision on how kind of feedback we get. I think it's gonna be good, but I'd love to hear from all of you. So come up and talk to me if you know OneOps or you have an opinion on whether or not something that's managing applications should be in OpenStack. I'd love to hear from you. That's it. Ta-da.
Good job. All right, I don't even know, you didn't forward the slides, and I don't know who's next. Exactly. I gave you one thing to do.
It's almost flawless.
Warm round of applause for Sujata. Your slide clip is here. Okay.
Hi, everybody. So, hey. So I'm going to talk about the plumbing in OpenStack, how you move packets between your VMs, virtual machines. Yeah. So moving packets from NICs to the VMs in OpenStack. Well, no quiz on this one. So many of you must be familiar with software-defined networking, right? It's a buzzword, right? And the left-hand side shows the breakup of software-defined networking, and the right-hand side shows the OP and FP framework for the network function virtualization. So the bottom part is the hardware infrastructure. So in networking, that used to be in ASICs and FPGA, which has come out of the FPGAs and ASICs. That's why out of the box. So I guess you get the meetup name now, right?
I just learned something.
Yeah, so out of the box basically. So what it does is that, traditionally what used to happen in ASICs is that you had your custom defined ASICs and the software which would tell the ASIC what to do, basically program the ASIC with the tables and everything, and the application layer which would configure and everything, that would be all integrated, but with SDN that is separated, and with OP and FP, that's also the infrastructure. So the top layer is orchestration, that's where the OpenStack comes into picture. So this is the OP and FP Brahmaputra release, which actually brings together the SDN and the OpenStack. So the green part on the left-hand side, that's the hardware, the bare metal. And on top of it, you have data pin accelerators. Now, the networking infrastructure running on x86 kind of platform is really needs accelerator because x86 workloads were not really defined for networking workloads. Their networking workloads are very IO intensive. Packets come in and go every, they have to come at line rate. So software like DPDK, data path acceleration, they will they are optimized. They will make use of the multiple CPUs and the huge memories which is available in today's system and optimize. So, oh, the diagram is not seen here.
Oops. The map version is not showing on the picture. It's in invisible ink.
It's an invisible. Okay. So anyway, if any of you have seen packets in any of the Ixia or Spirent kind of thing, you would have seen the headers, and especially somebody talked about VPN, right? So VXLAN is one of the popular technologies for implementing VPN. So that means over a normal TCP/IP packet, you would have another layer of VXLAN header, and over that another layer of TCP/UDP headers. So it's like if the original packet processing was X, with these it will be 3X or 4X, right? So that's just multiplies the packet processing. So that's why you have these different technologies which will, and this diagram is also kind of messed up a little bit, but it shows the essential elements. So there are various ways of making packet processing faster. So one is, so the leftmost on the hardware side, you see VTD. So where the hardware NIC is directly connecting to the software NIC, but then you don't have mobility. So your VMs cannot move between the servers. And then you have SRIOV. So in hardware, you have filters. So you can configure your NIC to filter packets based on MAC and VLAN. And those packets will go to multiple VLANs. And DPDK, which is a software-based technology again. So here are your options to accelerate packet processing.
Wow, lots of disclaimers.
Okay, come forward.
Oh,
There you are. Hello.
Let's see. Yay, Wendy! The arrow thing.
I know. I'm just gonna use it. All right. So hi everyone. I'm Wendy, Cartee. I'm from PLUMgrid, and PLUMgrid is a software-defined networking company. So actually, it flows very well from the Intel presentation. What I want to talk about is the networking aspect of OpenStack and what are we really doing from a human level as well as from a technology level. So first of all, why software-defined networking? And I think a lot of you know this already, but I want to just talk really quickly about how important this is. If you are an enterprise or a service provider, this is what you're used to buying. It's an embedded system like this. Custom hardware, custom software, everything is locked in. And you pay roughly $500,000 for this. Each line card is about $100,000, right? And the virtual router, which a lot of hardware vendors are leveraging, is from this legacy system. Now, what software-defined networking does is disaggregate all that. And you have a disaggregated control plane, disaggregated data plane, disaggregated service plane. And what that allows you to do is modularize the functionalities in networking so that you can recompose the different modular functions into a set of services that is specifically right for you, whether you're running enterprise applications or service provider applications. The whole concept of being able to compose and automate is extremely important to drive the business agility, which is a key benefit of OpenStack and why people are moving into OpenStack. So what we do at PLUMgrid is to offer this disaggregated software-defined networking, and we offer a whole microsegmentation capability around that, security, scale-out architecture, and we are the most integrated OpenStack SDN in the market today. So we support RDO, we support Ubuntu, Red Hat OpenStack, Marantis OpenStack, Canonical OpenStack, Rackspace OpenStack, you name it. So chances are when we go into a customer and they have chosen one of the distros already, we already have support for that distro. We also have Cloud Apex, which is a monitoring and visualization tool. So this is a very difficult challenge for our customers because when things become virtualized, it's really hard to see what's going on, right? So what we do here is make it really easy for our customers. Each one of these little boxes is a virtual machine, and it turns red, it turns yellow, it turns green, it turns different colors depending on the traffic load. So it's really easy for anyone to monitor what's going on in their network. And we do that for virtual machines, we do that for containers, and we do that for networks. So it's extremely easy. And they could go over here where they could get text-based messages of, the really deep dive details of exactly what's going on. So it makes it easy from installation to deployment to operations as well. Now, what I want to talk about next is, okay, we have all this great technology. What is it doing to improve lives for everyone on this planet, right? Because that's what technology does, right? And I want to really convey here how important the work really is from everyone in this community, not just networking, but if you're involved in compute projects and storage projects, everything you do is driving improvements for everybody in the world. So what are some of the use cases that we see? In the enterprise side, we have a number of use cases here, and it's pretty much everybody out there. You have e-commerce, you have telemedicine, you have retail, you have government, education. A lot of these organizations are using OpenStack. Same thing on the service provider side. 5G is coming, right? And service providers are looking at using OpenStack, to build that and software-defined networking. So it's extremely important for the entire sort of ecosystem that we all live in every day. So I'm just going to go through 3 use cases really quick. Financial services, if you have a credit card, for example, OpenStack is being used to secure financial credit card transactions, right? Segmentation is really important for that. And there are a lot of companies out there who are looking at building up their own cloud for security purposes, and they're using OpenStack for that. So again, your work is helping these companies be able to build this infrastructure that's driving PCI compliance and making sure your transactions are secure. E-commerce, retail, obviously, most of us buy things online these days, and a lot of retailers are moving their applications into OpenStack clouds. I think we just heard from a gentleman from Walmart, and they have a huge OpenStack cloud. I buy things from Walmart.com, right? And it's good to know that I'm helping OpenStack. So, all right, one more slide. Okay, this one didn't come out with the pictures, but telemedicine. This is really important because, as you know, baby boomers are aging. Many countries have aging population, and having telemedicine really helps everybody out there to get better access to healthcare. So, your work out there is extremely important. You should all be very proud of your contribution to OpenStack, and I just want to say happy birthday to OpenStack, and be very proud of your contributions, and thank you very much.
Oops, am I going the wrong way?
No, that's fine.
Oh, is that the first slide?
Yeah.
No, oh, yeah, I'm sorry, it is.
Either one is fine. I tell you what.
I'm not following fast.
Quite all right. We'll start here. Hello, I'm Bryan Stephenson. I'm a security architect with Hewlett Packard Enterprise. Been working on OpenStack a little over a year, and I'm here to talk about why OpenStack is secure. So there's all kinds of cool OpenStack security features. I'm not going to talk about those. Not going to talk about operational security for OpenStack, although that's a huge issue. What I'm going to talk about is why the distribution itself, the code itself, is secure. So one of the things I've done to improve security is train over 100 developers in secure coding practices for Python that help the code resist attack. Very important because the code is really being attacked all the time. And so this is one of many processes that many people are involved in trying to make it better. OpenStack is a really large code base. It pulls in a lot of dependencies as well. And so OpenStack has a vulnerability management team, or VMT, which basically manages vulnerabilities, looks at vulnerabilities in OpenStack or dependent code, analyzes them, determines how critical they are for OpenStack, which might be different than the generic vulnerability score, helps to get them fixed, helps to get them reliably and responsibly disclosed to the community. You see them mostly after release, but they're involved before release as well to make sure we address known vulnerabilities before release. Customers really don't like upgrading their OpenStack and then immediately having to install one or more hot fixes to make the thing secure. So in addition, there's the OpenStack security group. They do all kinds of things. No time to mention everything they do, but just a few things. They'll look at code and identify code that needs improved. They'll write and modify blueprints. They'll identify reviews that have security impact and then tag those reviews as having security impact so that they and other people can go perform those reviews and modify things to, again, improve security of the overall code. And then if we look at those activities are kind of across the software development lifecycle. If we look at early phases of the lifecycle, there's architecture reviews, and of course security properties and security requirements are some of the things reviewed there and refined to improve security. One of the things HPE does is a formal threat analysis on all new components or components with changes that affect the architecture, and I'm heavily involved in that. So what we'll do is walk through the architecture with the tech lead, and our security team will ask deep probing questions to look at what are the controls in place, how might they be bypassed or defeated, and allow an attacker to get access to the environment. One of the things we also get from that is we identify areas where we might want to look closely in the later phases of the life cycle. So for example, we might have code review of specific code that has a lot of churn, or we might do specific penetration testing in a place where we find there's specific risks that we've identified in this part of the life cycle. In the middle of the life cycle, you all know there's lots of code reviews. Security, again, is one of the things looked at there, refinements to improve security.
And then most of you, I hope, have heard of the Bandit tool, which is a static source code analysis tool that HPE released to the open source community. Internally, we actually have gates in our CI process. So Bandit will run, it will alert developers to issues it finds in the code. It will then allow them to fix the issues before they commit the code. Widely used, all across the OpenStack community, and in fact, all across the larger Python development community. The goal of that tool was to be, very fast. You can run the entire Keystone code through it in about 20 seconds, and very valuable, meaning low rate of false positives and really clear messages on what developers need to do to improve things. And then late in the life cycle, we do scans of actual live deployed systems. So we'll look at APIs, web UIs. These tools will run, probe those interfaces, try and find defects there, ways to get in. And then also we'll have human penetration testers attack these test systems that we deploy in our labs. It's really the best way to gain more assurance that the code is really secure. So really, in summary, together, all of these processes help to make the release secure. And the goal here is, very, very quickly to make you aware of what's going on, that there's, a whole lot of people doing a significant amount of work in various different areas, all before the release. And then, of course, in the operations and after the release, there's other things, but I'm out of time, so can't talk about it. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure.
That's actually not our first slide. You're not sure who this is? We actually work together. Hold on. Way too many things here. That's actually our, by the way, do you guys know Patricia? She is one of our community new organizers, and she will be organizing these things. Would you just stop that, Sean?
To me.
Okay. All right, start that over since you interrupted us. Patricia now works with Sean, but you've all known her through many of her other hats. And this is us, and it's about a 10-year period that those pictures were taken from, right? And we all look exactly the same.
Exactly.
Right? 10 years, huh? We've done a lot of meetups together. Anyway, I'm going to talk to you about diversity. I even got cards, so I stay on time. This is an increasingly hot topic in tech, but I'm not actually seeing a lot of change. And I'm on a lot of these panels, and I get asked a lot of questions about how can people actually make a real difference. Well, you need to understand that this is not a numbers game. This is about empathy, inclusion, and valuing people, really. I mean, I think those are better terms than diversity because they actually mean something real, right? Marginalized groups do not need better numbers. They, we just need a chance. That's essentially it. So I'm in the innovation team, so I spent a lot of time thinking about this, and I spent a lot of time studying it. Innovative teams are very inclusive teams, and there's a lot of research that shows that where we have innovation, we always have inclusion, so you have to get on board. This notion of privilege, which has protected some people for so long, that is changing. So that's not going to be the same going forward. So what is privilege? Privilege we used to refer to as stale, male, and pale. It comes in different shapes and sizes now, but it's really essentially access to benefits based on traits that you possess. These could be traits you are born with, which you can't do anything about, which ironically is where most of our unconscious and conscious bias is rooted in. It can also be based on selective privilege, which are things like your religion, your school that you happen to have gone to, maybe the color you dye your hair. It could be things that do change throughout the course of your life. So here's the part where you come in. You, with the privilege, need to lend it, okay? So credibility lending, you need to elevate the people in your team. Give that person credit who wrote that really, really cool code in your last release. Make sure that that credit gets elevated up through the system. Access lending, you have to provide entry to people without privilege. Send somebody else to that conference. She probably knows more about Docker than you do anyway, so why are you the one speaking at DockerCon, okay? Send somebody else. Give that person access and showcase their talent. Recently on Jon Stewart's last week of The Daily Show, he had Ta-Nehisi Coates on as one of his final guests. That book, which I had read and thought was one of the most unbelievably good books of the year, didn't get on the New York Times bestseller list or on any of the bestseller lists until after the week after The Daily Show. That is giving somebody access, and now a lot of people read it, and it was one of the most important works you could have read last year. So give people access, review and accept pull requests that are from outside of your team and that are from outside of your business unit and maybe outside of your organization if it's open source, okay? You don't know where that pull request is coming from. You might be giving someone a chance to showcase their talent. So that is, I think, my last slide, but essentially, oh wait. Yeah, okay. So I forgot there was one more. So expertise lending. Really choose very carefully who is going to lead your next project. Because that person, you probably have unsung heroes in your team that you could showcase and elevate that you're not thinking about right now. Give that to someone who doesn't look exactly like you. You know, think about that. Elevate those people and showcase that talent. If we really want diversity in tech, it really doesn't take much to change, but it's more than just staffing the numbers. So lend your privilege, showcase awesome people at your meetups. Patricia.
My turn. Good job. Okay.
Oh wait, no, she's not.
So
I'm the same talk.
my experience in OpenStack for the past around 3 years, and it's three old things: love, innovation, and community. Love. I mean, I've just felt nothing but love from the people. Well, you know, here and there a little drama, but mostly love. And then the innovation, like Sean was talking about. Even at Walmart Labs, we have one ops, and we're using, you know, OpenStack with that. And there's 76 countries who are involved, thousands of people. So clearly the community is a big deal. And I was hoping she was going to run over so I wouldn't have to rack my brain for what else I was going to talk about. But these pictures say it all. This is, you know, these are years old, and Paris and Bernard, who's supposed to be here, it's his birthday tonight. Cynthia's in there somewhere, and she's over there in the back. And that's pretty much it. Just OpenStack, love, innovation, and community. Yeah.
Somebody's gonna beat me up here for I talk fast. But we get no favoritism here, no matter how long we've known each other. Okay, the next talk is VMware. Oh, okay. Hi.
I'm here.
Perfect.
I was just hiding in the back.
Okay. That's your slide, because I don't think I have any other slides for you. Oh, except for this one.
Slides? Okay, well, that's good.
Do you have any?
No, it's about upgrades, so we don't need slides.
Okay, perfect, because I didn't get any slides.
That's actually my bad. I sent the slides, but I sent it at 5:30, so my problem. So anyway, my name is Arvind Soni, and I work at VMware, one of the sort of long-standing contributors in OpenStack. What I wanted to start with, and I just have about 4 minutes, big clock running over there, right? Is first of all, congrats to everyone on 6th birthday. And I was looking at some numbers, so I will just repeat those for you. About 130 companies, plus companies, have contributed to OpenStack. Imagine that. I mean, and the deployments are all over the place, right? I mean, 46% in US, 25% in EMEA, 25% in Asia, so it's global, right? There are 5 Nova drivers, 15 Neutron drivers, 40 plus Cinder drivers. So what does this mean, right? What is all this innovation done? At the heart of it, you have unified. You have managed to unify it across the globe, across technologies, across companies. This is unprecedented. I mean, I work at a great company. I'm very proud of it, but this is just amazing. So give yourself a good round of applause. This is amazing, right? You know, the part that VMware has played very early on, we realized the potential of OpenStack. It is about APIs. It is about automation. It is about bringing that public cloud experience, sort of frictionless public cloud experience to your private cloud, right? Just like you are going to Amazon, putting your credit card and getting the machine, same kind of experience, same kind of automation you want to get to your private cloud. That's what OpenStack can definitely deliver. And all those e-commerce platforms that are running, or telemedicine and things like that. It's all innovation, right? It's a forward-looking thing. So for our part, or my part in this, I do the product management, so I work on things like deployment, operations, upgrade, patching. These are all the things that I worry about OpenStack, right? So the cool thing that I wanted to talk about in my slides, which are not here, is just about upgrade. So when we deploy OpenStack on vSphere, yes, it works on vSphere, right? So if you guys are surprised, it's just a hypervisor, right? I mean, it's a hypervisor management system. We layered OpenStack Nova and Cinder on top of it. It just works. So what we did was, when we layered it on top of it, we were pushed to innovate. And this is where I am really proud to work in OpenStack, right? It pushes you to innovate on things. And we looked at like various paradigms of how do you upgrade a distributed control plane, which has a lot of moving parts. And of course, blue-green paradigm came up as very nicely. So we were like, we've never done this thing before, right? I mean, we deploy OpenStack in 10, 15 VMs, and we didn't know how to do it. So last quarter, we had about a dozen customers who upgraded seamlessly from all the way from ISOS to Kilo. Imagine that it took them about 2 hours to upgrade OpenStack, right? So before this, it was impossible for us to give them patches and upgrade. So we have done, I should pat myself in the back, and we have done a good job of using Ansible and blue-green upgrade to give you sort of very operationally ready OpenStack, right? Take the headache from you, like, okay, well, how am I going to get to Mitaka, or how am I going to get to Liberty, and all those things. So that's my job, right? That's what my team is working on. Our distribution is called VMware Integrated OpenStack. It's available for free. Sort of. I mean, you need vSphere, right? So pay for vSphere to get VIO free, right? So I mean, you got to make money somewhere. I need to get salary, right? So you can go to our product page, download VIO. It's available for, as I said, quasi-free. All you need is vSphere. Give it a shot. I think it's one of the fastest ways to get to a production OpenStack, right? With that, congrats again. Happy 6th birthday. Thank you.
Okay, we have one more message from the foundation. Yeah, Heidi, you're not off the hook yet. No, yeah, we're just gonna have some official words from Heidi, who's going to speak for the official OpenStack Foundation.
Yay. Hi, everybody. I just want to thank you all for being OpenStack, for whether it's been 1 year, 2 years, 6 years, however long you've been part of our community and part of who we are. And from the foundation, we thank you. And we don't feel like we're any more OpenStack than you are. We're all equally OpenStack, and we love you very much. Also, this is a kick-ass user group. And I think a lot of the other user groups and meetup groups have kind of used this as an example of how to really run a great meetup. And so for all the people who are organizers, Lisa and everybody else, I can't see you in the room, but thank you so much for doing this. I know it's a lot of work. And with the quality of the work we do and people you bring together is really amazing. So thank you so much for doing it. Probably don't get enough thanks. So I want to give you a round of applause. So come see us all from Foundation. Come see us all in Barcelona if you can. If not, I'll see you at the next meetup. Thank you again.
Thank you, Heidi. And thank you to Sean and Rick who have done this for so long with me. And in Sean's case even longer. And okay, so I think the cupcake boxes are about to be opened. You all have your tickets, right, that you got on the way in, so collect your prize, your mug on the way out. Would you like to say something, Love?
No, I just.
Oh, you're just making noise.
Emphasis.
Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, emphasizing for the cupcakes. Yes, cupcakes for the win. There's still a little bit of wine left. Thank you for saving me some. I haven't had any yet, believe it or not. And that's it, right? Unless anyone has any questions or anything else, you'll find your presenters mingling about. We have the facility for another half an hour or so. So network and have fun. It's your party. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Datera. Thank you very much to the facility. Thank you there very, very much. This is awesome.
Don't worry about the